We are now in the last bit of our conference, of our sessions for today, and this is open debate. So I would like to strongly encourage everyone to speak up and to ask questions. Maybe one thought by myself. We have planned 2 sessions for this year to meet with the working group that was agreed on in Kyoto, and both didn't take place due to the pandemic. And even though we have the digital in our title, we are a digital strategy development group, we didn't have a digital strategy for ourselves. And we organized ourselves by email and not so much by Zoom. But I think we have made some good experiences with Zoom now, and our work group can meet with further Zoom sessions, even independent of the pandemic, because we always have to face travel costs and so on. I think our current amount of members in the working group is 24, and we come from roughly 14 different countries. So it's always a challenge for this working group to meet, just like for every other working group at CIDOC. I would be happy if you, when you speak up now in the open debate, introduce yourselves and say who you are, where you're from, and what your experiences are, and maybe what point of interests are especially relevant to you. That would be just great. I don't know if if Dominic is still here, because I can't mute or unmute people.
I'm here, yes.
Perfect. Is there also this hands up option here, or is that only in the webinar?
No, that's only in the webinar.
And please,
okay.
everybody could. Hello? Yes, please, if you could please turn on the video also, because we see a lot of black. Only the names, and that's
stop that, so we have a full screen view on the people. Right. So you can always use the chat to raise your hand and say I have a question, and then we can
actually basically people can turn on their microphones themselves.
Yes, everybody could turn on the microphone and the video as well, and we can discuss it.
Well, maybe
because
only
we made some.
Yeah, perfect.
We are here the leader of this little working group, and we made the only proposals, and everything can change. So we need your reactions.
Marta, did you want to say something?
Yeah. Thanks for accepting me in this group, and you know, nowadays I'm running the after studying a postgraduate course in digital strategy in cultural organizations. I'm running 2 social media in two organizations as a volunteer. One of them is ABICOM, is the ICON Committee for Audiovisuals, New Technologies and Social Media, because I was looking for people working in these areas, in the digital strategy, social media, and so on, in ICON. And nowadays there is not a special committee. So I find these people in ABICOM, and then I found these people after register in CIDOC conferences. So I'm running these organizations, or ABICON, and then the other one is REMET. It's a Spanish network of people working in museums and digital strategies, and well, digital projects in general in Spain. So it's a very recent project, and I'm writing the digital strategy. So my only experience is before working for ABICOM, I was working for another ICON committee, the ICE, the Exhibition Exchange, and I prepared this digital strategy after my studies. So it's my first one. And this is going to be my second one, so I don't have a lot of experience like you, and I would try to do my best, but if I can send you a document and you can check it, that will be nice, because you are always talking about a museum, but what about this is an organization? It's different, because we don't have collections, we don't have we are more focused on marketing and especially branding in case of the organization I'm running nowadays that is starting, and we need to brand the association and the conference we are going to organize next year in Spain about digital strategy. So I'm saying Elena Viespesa and Ana Alvarez, there are two Spanish people in this nowadays in the group, and they are both in the committee of the conference, in the scientific committee to prepare the conference. So this is the idea. I'm running the social media as a volunteer, and you learn as you can on your own, but when you learn, you really learn is when you work with someone more experienced than you. And that's my, my problem. I need to work with someone more experienced than me.
Me too.
Awesome. We're very happy to have you here, and I've seen that I think yesterday evening you have uploaded already 2 or 3 further strategies to our database.
Yeah.
So that was a great surprise, and I'm happy to see that. The thing about all of these working groups here within ICOM and about within CIDOC also is that somehow we are all linked together. We're linked together by that same topic, and that's museums, because we are at ICOM. And we are linked together by the same problems. And of course, there are other committees next to CIDOC who are also starting to think about that. I'm thinking about the management committee. I'm talking about collections committee who are also thinking about it. There are even talks going on at the moment with Gloriana Amador from the ComCall, because we thought of maybe merging our digital strategy committees, or working groups to say, not committees. And that's something that we have to check with our committees, because if we are a joint working group for ComCall and CIDOC, that I don't know if that's possible with the bylaws of ICOM, because normally it's a hierarchical structure. You have ICOM, and then you have the committees, and then you have the working groups. And if one working group mixes with 2 committees, that just creates organizational questions. But that's not important. We are always interested in the topic and not in the bureaucracy. The thing that I would like to stress is that we are coming from a very specific perspective, and being CIDOC people is a perspective from the information side. Documentation within a museum is not anymore just collection data. It's information about education, it's information about restoration projects, it's about keeping track on the exhibitions you've had in your past. It's about social media, online accessibility to object information or collection information, and so on and so forth. So we are trying to bind it together from the documentation side within museums. And if we would spread out to other heritage institutions, I think museums and archives belong together, but beyond that, we might lose a little bit the focus. I mean, it's always good to talk about digital strategies, but we are there for the museums and the archives. So, sorry if that was a long response, but are there more questions or points of debate?
I would like to compliment on your work, because it's very thorough. Though I feel that for small museums it may be quite shocking. I mean, quite a lot of work. I've taken down notes, but as Jan says, I was missing, but you've pointed out, digital accessibility, which is very important, and use and reuse for open data policies. I think you have it covered, no? In a way, with copyright, you mean that kind of work trend. And last but not least, here in Europe, we have transparency directives. And so it's also important to the citizens as shareholders, I think they demand more and more to know about data from the management, the expenses, outcomes, how do we employ public money. And it's a kind of digital data that is used by management internally. And I don't know if in the digital strategy has been taken in consideration. Well, thank you very much. And that's my contribution. But thank you and congratulations on your work.
Thank you, Anna. I think this question mainly directed at Christian. But yeah.
Okay, I was a little bit. Could you repeat the question? What was the question? I was a little bit.
The question was how you're going to integrate topics like online accessibility and for the challenges. I can probably repeat those to your strategy. And this is
so, online accessibility is it would fit to the workflows or that was what we discussed today morning with Maya, that maybe the workflow, you could understand or interpret workflow also as that you need also a workflow, a proper workflow for online accessibility. And you could also ask in the section
legal.
Legal or also documentation or digitization. If you ask about digitization, is it everything already digitized? How far is your collection visible online? So definitely it should be a part of
perhaps
categories.
Yes, perhaps compliance and corporate social responsibility could be an important part to cater for public museums, especially in that have to be accessible and have to be transparent. I think it's not for every part of the world, but I mean, I'm talking from the European point of view, that we are very conditioned. And yes, and the use and reuse of open data, that is also an issue of discussion, no? Open GLAM. And
yeah, that should be also part for we have this section exhibition and publication, and publication I would understand as a digital publication, and in a general sense you could say digital publication, you should make it public available, everything that objects, exhibition details, also all the documents about your museum's budgeting, and to make your museum as transparent as possible.
I think we can, the good part about this, the checklist structure that Christian presented, is that we can include those topics that belong to various sections of the checklist by simply asking questions. You know, that's when we have the assessment part, we always ask, like, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about the third thing? And if you consider access, open access licensing, that's something that you can ask at various points, and then in the end we can maybe even index and have in the end an index and say questions regarding open access are asked at the following questions, and then you can link it back. So then we have this poly hierarchy working even within a flat document. Yeah. Are there further questions? Everybody's getting a little bit tired after a long day.
Hi.
Okay.
Yes, I'm Pei Qi from Singapore actually. So it's 1 a.m. I hope that I'm still coherent in my thoughts and words. Okay, so maybe just a bit of a I'm actually from the I would say the government institution in that sense, and so what me and my team does is actually digitization and then managing of information and digitization as in taking photographs or even 3D images of our artifacts, and as well as trying to doing information management of the collections and as well as conservation data and all the all the other peripherals. And I mean it's not exactly a question, I would say it's more of like a thank you for the team, because I think this gives me a bit more clarity, because at this point in time my key issues has been always to see how does the whole thing comes together, what we do as part of our job to digitize, and at the end of the day what is the product that we can provide to our end users in that sense, be it the public or internal. Yeah, so I think I'm looking forward to this, to be very honest. And yeah, I probably have to take it back to my team to see whether I can, I mean the bosses, to see whether I can participate or not as part of the member, but I'm definitely interested in this. Yeah, just a comment in that sense.
I have two thoughts for that. One is that you are basically addressing the topic of a digitization strategy, and that would be a piece of the puzzle for us. So as a digital strategy, we are talking about the comprehensive digital strategy. We would like a digitization plan to be part of the overall strategy, whereas we would like to see even more pieces of the puzzle, and we would like to link digitization to workflows, to governance, to communications, to all of the other sections. The other thought is that Andreas Weiser, who gave the keynote address before in the first session, he is actually a specialist on writing digitization strategies or digitization plans. We don't have to over stress the word of the strategy. Maybe it's a plan, it's an action plan, it's a scheme, whatever. But it's a way how to do it. And he's actually very far with that. He has presented in September a model for digitization strategies that has totally convinced me that. So if you check him on Google, Andreas Weiser with double S, W-E-I-S-S-E-R, it's worth having a look. He has his own website, and you'll find him. So digitization plans are definitely worth having a look and thought for.
Thank you, Yen.
Further thoughts, remarks, questions?
Maybe we should also mention how we would like to continue our work. That it was, I think, a little bit too short. That in the future we would like to try out and continue our work with help of Zoom. That means we will have the chance to meet regularly, and we could set up meetings very easily from our home office, regularly once in a month or twice in a month, and it's quite easy to join our working group. And I hope that thanks this new technology, we could speed up our work a little bit as well. Do you agree, Jan?
Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Or everybody. So we have here also the moment here to organize us for our next meetings and for further work, and then we can continue if you are interested in our work or if you like to join.
I think that Maya really needs more hands, because there's like the strategy comparison section is extremely work intensive. You have to read through whole strategies to assess them according to the scheme that Maya has developed there, and to add it to the tables. So that's actually a big pile of work that would be excellent if she would have more people joining in there. Maya, do you agree?
I totally agree, and this is why I've created the Google form, so it will be much easier to spread the word and spread the work. I already received some emails, people asking me if they can share the Google form. So just to be clear, you are welcome to share the Google form, and you are welcome to contact me with any question, and come and join us to the work. Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
On the side of Sonia, for the stakeholder analysis, I think we can try to fill up the scheme that she has developed and bring in more needs that people have, more options to respond to the questions that she has brought up. That would be something for creative minds who are there, who can think out and who can think themselves into the problems that are there. And also these results need to be communicated to the checklist. And then for the checklist team, I feel we could really need a liaison person who checks into the results from the other working groups. I mean, of course, I'm also doing that, but that's a main focus that a person could have to bring in the newest results from Lido. Take the example of ODEM. Lido has developed a exhibition object exchange tool, so that you don't only use the Lido format in order to upload object data onto platforms, but that you can actually have a museum-to-museum data exchange. So in the future, it might be possible to not only give an object on loan to another museum, but to also have a mouse click on your database, and then all the object information that the loan taker needs are accessible for him in his own or her own database. So this is something that changes at the moment, and that's definitely worth being mentioned in our checklist. Like the question, have you considered to use your database to provide object information for loan takers? You know, so this is a kind of job that could really be done, and that's in the heart of CIDOC. But also, as I said, we are linking up to ComCall, and then we'll have the liaison work within the collections committee going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the ideas are manifold. There are plenty of ideas. All of you who are listening now, please just jump in and make suggestions on how you can enrich our work.
And to make our
Christian,
work
I think you will.
more fancy and more to give you a little bit more motivation. We have a special announcement here. We would like to invite you, everybody. The Vera, the presenter, offered me that she would organize a special guided tour to an online exhibition. Unfortunately, we cannot visit Dominic's museum in Geneva, in Switzerland, because we are online. But now we have the chance next Monday. If you have time, then you can meet Vero again. Maybe I am working on it to convince Vera also to join our working group, because she's really active with digital technology. So if you like, then join us. Maybe next Monday already, or and how is it organized, Jan? Everybody should write you, or if somebody would like to join the group, or how would you like to organize it?
That's a good question, actually. Thank you. Yeah, everybody can write an email to exactly the email address that you have already received the participant emails yesterday and today. And I will then add you to the Google group that we have. We have a Google group and a Google Drive. And anyone who's in the Google group can write emails to the whole crowd. And of course, also there are the email addresses of Christian, Maya, and Sonia. And so if you want to get involved, or if you have remarks or suggestions or hints to the work of the teams, you can add up to this work there. Yeah, so I'd be happy to include you to the email list, to the Google group there. Okay, so if there are no more questions, I think we can skip the third session. Are there any objections to that in this room? And so I would like to thank Dominic for making everything possible, and for the great host he was, and he will still be until tomorrow evening. I will give a summary of today's workshops in the annual general meeting tomorrow. I believe this is the second last time I have the privilege to do that, because every board member in CIDOC can only be re-elected once, and my second time in the board of CIDOC is over in 2 years, I believe. Yeah. So it's certainly worth having a look there. I recommend all of you to check our annual general meeting tomorrow afternoon. And I wish you all the best, and hope to see many of you again in our Zoom meetings. We will find an appointment for our next meeting in the Google group. Maybe we even doodle it. That might be a good idea to check who has most time there. So there are plenty of digital options to organize ourselves. It was a great pleasure to have you all here, and I'm really relieved to see that there's so much interest in our topic. Bye from Berlin.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Everybody. And see you soon.
Bye. See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Hey, panelists, maybe we could stay a little bit more longer in the session.
I think
so Dominic
already left us. Yes.
Yeah, no
Who has
problem.
left us?
No problem for me. We can stay.
Five more minutes for.
No problem. No problem.
We have done.
Okay. So the question is resolved. We don't need the third session today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But thanks for offering, and thanks for making it possible. Anyways.
Yes.
So
Is that finished for today?
yeah, Christian was just asking for the panelists to stay online for a few minutes. Sonia's already out.
But we could also chat later next week.
Yeah, we could also make up our own little Zoom
another
chat,
meeting.
Yeah.
Because I have nothing really important to say, or I would like to thank you and give the gratulation for everybody to greetings, and that was good. And it was for me also a little bit new here to do this conference online. Yesterday, you remember, we got the news from Dominic, 250 participants.
285 registered.
Yes. I started to feel me like a rock star. Yeah.
Well, that's
yeah, but it's interesting to see that.
I think that's a real issue. Is it really a good idea to make it all free, because people are just registering for sessions and then they don't come?
Yeah.
Maybe if you make even a symbolic price for a session, I think they wouldn't do that, and they would really register for sessions to go there, not just to say yes, why not? If I have nothing else to do, I'll go to a session.
But normally you can also say, if you have 200 participants, then definitely 50 will be there, and it's enough for us. So I would make
Yeah.
it simpler. Free is good.
I think, Dominic, that it's not bad. I mean, if we know that roughly 1/3 appear, and that's an experience we made this time, and maybe it will harden up. I don't know how it was in the other committees. Then it's okay.
Just people are talking about that on the Google CIDOC Google group, because
Okay.
some of them are quite disappointed, because that's exactly what happens. They say it's from 35 to 50% presence. Well, the Getty vocabulary had a great success with 195 viewers. And well, it's also a kind of competition, you know, between the two different sessions. So people are registering. That's what you know, they registered even many times, actually. They come register for some sessions, and they come back and register for other sessions, and yeah. But we have to learn from that.
I think that €1 or $1 or £1 Swiss franc is worth differently in every country of this world. And
so I would argue we need very strong topics and content and sexy topics, and then is everything solved. That means if we are good enough, we will get enough listeners or members for our group. So it's not about €10, or if we offer it free, but if we are enormous good, then we can have enough participants.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if we manage to attract more people, then it's good. And as I was just starting to say, €1 has a different worth in different areas of this world.
Yeah.
And I think that now we have the opportunity to really be ICOM, you know, to be really a global body. And one criticism that I've heard a lot was that too many conferences were taking place in Europe. And this is a dilemma that is not easily solved, because on one hand, the biggest part of ICOM membership is European. So Europeans don't want to have the high travel costs. And this is why they are doing most of the conferences here. On the other hand, areas in South America and in Asia and where in other parts of the world, they simply don't have the chance to provide for more membership, because they have these high travel costs, and then in some areas they usually have lower incomes, so the travels become even more difficult for them to handle. So I think that free conferences actually are a great chance to truly become global and to somehow democratize our work, and to include museums from remote areas to what we're doing here. And I would strongly favor that. And well, if there's if 1/3 comes out of the total amount of registrations, fine, I'll know that. I didn't lose anything by having 80 participants today instead of 280. But yeah, what are the others saying, Dominic?
Yeah, some of them are quite disappointed, but well, it's a bit
disappointed
the same.
About what? Because
physically they expected
not
to have 100, for example, just an example, Gordon, he had some 160 registered participants, and finally he had some 50 in the session.
This is good.
50 is good. It is good, but he he was dreaming of 160.
But we talked about it yesterday, that it's very easy to register, and we can't count on almost how many? 258?
285.
We had the highest number was 72 in the first panel. 73, 70 something.
That's a lot of people. 50, 70 or even 50 people. I think that's very good.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people can afford to be here, you know, for 6 hours, because they are working, they have meetings, and maybe they are 2 hours, and then they have a meeting, and then they go back. or maybe they at the end they say, I forget I have another thing, and then, well, if I register, I will have the recording later. If you don't register for the event, you can reach the recording later in many occasions, you know. So that's the most important thing for many people. Maybe you can attend the event for the whole, you know, for the whole day, but you can go there 2 hours, 1 hour, 3 hours, and then you listen the other parts later on.
Dominique, do you have any way to count how many people will watch the video for our session or other session? Because it's very important. It's like this. It's a session that is keeping you know, happening.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I hope so. I hope so. I think so. I think so. I couldn't answer that now, but I'm almost sure. Yeah, just one thing. We were talking with the people from Collection Trust. They had an online meeting just a few weeks before ours, and they said that many more people are watching afterwards the videos. That's what, for example, Jonathan Wilson Proud said that he had just a few people in his session, but many more people are watching the videos afterwards.
Okay.
And I will do the best to make it possible to say how many people have watched it.
Because it's much easier. You can pause. You can go. You can. It's in
Yeah.
your own free time. You're not obligated to log in.
Yeah.
This is a big advantage for us and for you, for the conference and for CIDOC. I think it's not just the online conference that so many people can register. It's just it's aftermath. Okay, many people can watch it later.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm glad it all worked out so smoothly, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the next conference.
I hope it will be. It won't be a virtual one next year in Estonia.
You.
Is it Estonia next year?
Next year is Estonia, yes.
Estonia online.
I don't hope so. I hope it will be Estonia physically.
Yeah. Okay, guys, thank you.
Okay. Thank
it
you.
was great today. We did well.
Yeah.
And see you
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
More sessions tomorrow, AGM tomorrow.
Yeah.
CIDOC is still needing us. Yeah.
Jan, thank you so much for the presentations and your presentation. It's really.
Your presentation was just as long as mine. Thank you, Maya.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Christian.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye,
Dominic,
everybody.
for hosting us.
Send my greetings to the Hungarian task force.
Yes. And greetings to Switzerland as well.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. See you tomorrow.